Hello friends, welcome to the EduSat Network. Our topic of discussion today is museums and technology. We are going to note the presence of technology in museums, and for this discussion we have thus in the studio Dr. Anand Bardhan, Professor, Delhi Institute of Heritage Research and Management, and he is also credited with designing the National Philatelic Museum in New Delhi. So it's a privilege to have him here with us today, and let us welcome him. Welcome, sir, and I would like to request you to begin the lecture.
Thank you. Very good morning. We have already discussed that museums initially were considered as a storehouse of cultural objects, but in contemporary period museums are taken as institutions where very authentic researches are conducted. Museums are informal center of education, and museums are now generally dedicated to edutainment. Edutainment means education through entertainment. Before going into the profundity of the matter, we will have to know what kind of challenges museums were facing in the modern world. Especially museums in Europe, they were facing challenges from different corners, and these challenges emerged because of technocentric development in Europe and emergence of different means of entertainment in those countries. For example, there emerged very good number of para-museums, there emerged very good number of heritage parks, eco-parks, industrial parks. Apart from that, what we find that the making of business malls in great number, also cinema and other important factors, they created a big challenge for museum because they were offering people better means of entertainment, and museums were having very stereotyped exhibition. Their display pattern was also very traditional, and they were mainly object oriented. So what was required, that how museums could have made themselves people's friendly, and for this purpose no other than the latest technology especially information technology was going to play a vital role. So in Europe there emerged a trend that the general display which was generally done by the museums were transformed into display which were able to create simulated effect, and for this several kinds of technologies were adopted by the museums. In this regard, what one may find after a very scientific and study and you can say critical and analytical study of the development of exhibitions in Europe, is all about dioramic display, and this dioramic display was a paradigm shift from the type of exhibitions we were having earlier. Diorama means a very realistic and three-dimensional representation of an object with its perspective, with its background. For example, if there is a natural history museum, if you are only going to show in your showcase, display in your showcase one particular animal that is taxidermified, it is not going to create a very good impression on the mind of visitors. So what was thought, that this animal should be presented against a background which will remind people of its natural habitat. For example, if the taxidermified lion has been presented in a museum, we must create there an ambience of a dense forest or a cave, or it can be done by different methods. Of course, in modern museum techniques, illumination and color scheme are two very important subject matters, and in a dioramic technique itself, color and illumination, painting, creation of the realistic perspective, these are some of the very important issues. So, by the beginning of 20th century, some changes were already occurring. However, a dynamic change occurred with the development of modern sciences in the field of museum, and it was later on realized that any visitor who is coming to museum, he should be offered an environment where he can experience, can have a unique experience, and this can be created by simulated sound effect and through different audio visuals, by creating a very natural and realistic panorama, a very kaleidoscopic kind of landscape within the gallery. Especially all such things were firstly been brought into practice by Natural History Museum, where creation of a particular kind of panorama or a particular kind of natural habitat, or creation of something which was of course artificially designed, but which reminded people that they were walking through the original space, through a forest or through a hilly area or through the natural habitat of animals. So, such kind of exhibitions having simulated effect were created through dioramic technique, and this was undoubtedly a paradigm shift, the first great experiment that museums did in the world. Dioramas can be a small dioramas, and dioramas can be very big dioramas as well, and even there are museums which have big dioramas, and these dioramas are generally called walk-through diorama. You can walk through all these dioramas, you can move from one place to another place, and you will have a feel that you are walking through the original space also. The environment has nothing artificial. So, such kind of artificially created, artificially designed environments were created in museum, and it allowed people, it facilitated people for multi-sensory engagement with the exhibits. This is a very important point, very interesting point as far as modern museum communication is concerned, that earlier we were trying to offer people only and only visual delight. We were only concerned about the presentation of what is unique, what is rare, what is having antiquarian value, what is having intrinsic value, what is having aesthetic value, what is having historical value. But now this is not the issue, the only issue. What we feel that museum is a place for unique experience, and somebody who is coming here, he should get ideal environment of learning, an environment in that a person may get an opportunity for multisensory engagement with object as well as the environment. So, what is important is not the creation of the panorama. What is also important is light, what is important is sound, what is important is color, what is important is level of illumination, what is important is actually all sorts of information which is provided, sometimes through sound, some through even by creating some specific smell. Suppose you are walking through a forest cover, the smell and sound of forest, these things are equally significant. So, museums are doing a lot of experiment right from the early decades of 20th century, and with the emergence of the new world order, a technocentric world, we find that museums to tackle with several problems which are emerging around it. They have also decided to modernize themselves, and their modernity means adaptation of modern technology for the purpose of communication. So earlier we were having object oriented museum, now we are having communication oriented museum, information oriented museum, and we should also know this fact that the information provided by museum is value added information. It is value added information, and what these museums are doing apart from diorama, they have adopted several technology. Another important issue that can be developed is adaptation of animation technology, especially by natural history museums and museums related to science and technology and health museum. Suppose, for example, we can take example of a health museum showing the formation of blood, hematopoiesis in human body. It cannot be shown through two-dimensional paintings or even by three-dimensional paintings. We will have to show how blood is created, how it moves, how it runs through the entire body, and what is the role of the heart, how it can be displayed. Only by a figure of heart, only by a model of heart, only by showing arteries and capillaries, by making their realistic painting, people will not have a very good experience if they are going to see a museum exhibition on the functioning of heart or the process of blood formation. So because these kind of paintings are also available in the books. So once somebody is visiting a museum, he would like to have a very different experience, and for that the use of technology is very much required. One may say that for a health museum this kind of animation technology is required, but animation technology will not be of great help for art and archaeological museum. This is not true. Suppose we have images of Buddha, we have display of the oleographs of the paintings of Ajanta, or any sort of exhibition on miniature painting. Thus, this doesn't mean that their modern technology is not required. We need modern technology for different purposes. It is not only the Natural History Museum where silk screen painting is required, where animation technique is required, optic fiber technology is required. It is these kind of technologies are required even in art and archaeological museums also, because they are also supposed to be communication oriented. One thing I would like to explain, that today every information is made available on the website, and this web accessibility is also a great challenge for museum. This was found especially in a study that was conducted in France, that the number of visitors had started decreasing in the museums of France, including one of the well-known universal museums of the world, that is Louvre Museum of Paris. And the reason was that each and every information about gallery, exhibit, storage, collection, and entire museum data was made available on the website. So somebody who was looking for some information rather than visiting to the museum was interested in collecting it from the website itself. So technology itself created several kinds of problems and challenges for museum exhibitions, and this was another reason that it was thought that our exhibitions should be very lively, very immersive, inclusive, of multidisciplinary nature, and it should be very abiding kind of exhibition. If we will not have participatory kind of exhibition, interactive kind of interpretative kind of exhibition, we will not have immersive and abiding kind of exhibitions, people will not turn up to the museums, and if people are not coming to the museum, it is a failure of museum, and such problems we cannot we cannot solve such kinds of problem without proper and suitable use of technology for the purpose of display and communication in the museums. And this is why the use of technology in museums has become a very significant thing. We can understand how we can try to understand how it is going to be very beneficial for the museum. Generally, we find that museums have levels, and levels are very small. They provide information, you can say only a few factual information about the period of the object, about the provenance of the object, about the configuration of the object, material configuration of the object, and sometimes they also depict that what is the functional utility of the object. Apart from that, no information we get from levels. Some museums, they design very colorful orientation panel for each and every gallery, and that is of course very helpful. We know that museums, they publish brochures, they publish handouts, but they can be very good materials for very serious visitors. We have to address the problems of those visitors also who are non-serious. We have to create interest in the visitor. Actually, our duty is to make a non-serious visitor a very sincere and serious museum visitor. How we can do it? By distributing them brochures only, by giving them handouts, by giving them picture cards, we can't do it. It is only and only technology which can bring a remarkable change in the culture, in the practices of museum display. So we can say, without proper use of modern technology, we cannot have a communication oriented museum. One thing this is also required to be discussed at this juncture, that there has emerged a concept of objectless museum without objects. And if I am saying there is museum, there will be museums without objects, you may laugh at me, because museums are supposed to be repositories. This concept is a wonderful concept. There is no problem in having a museum without objects, because you are a cultural information center. You are a heritage action center. Every museum is supposed to be a cultural information center. It has to work as a multimedia cultural laboratory. Many museums in the world, they have emerged as multimedia cultural laboratories, where through information technology, information on culture is imparted, and very vibrant aspect of culture is displayed and presented in a very vivid manner with great vivacity. This is possible only and only by the use of modern technologies. So the very core issue of discussion is that how we are going to cater the need of the people, especially of those who are not researchers, who are not archaeologists, who are not anthropologists, who are not zoologists, who are not geologists, who are laymen and laywomen. And if they are coming to museum, they must have this feel that museum is a very dynamic organization, a dynamic institution which is well equipped with modern technology, which offers to us an opportunity for cultural education and aesthetic delight, and this can be created through modern technology. There is no doubt about it. I would like to explain you that we have started thinking in the direction of digital museum. Japan has many digital museums and museums which virtual exhibitions. Museums which virtual exhibitions, the use of virtual, this idea of virtual reality has revolutionized the entire arena of museums in the world. And we should also be aware of this fact that this idea of this approach of presenting, creating virtual exhibitions in museum, sometimes it is more appealing, it is more impressive than only a casual kind of, very formal kind of display of objects in a museum. So we will see one by one in what way technology is being used in the world, and to what extent India has been successful in using modern technology in our museums. The museums which are dedicated to art and culture, and also to anthropology, also to you can say the history of a particular region. These all museums have generally a system of conducting guided tour. This guided tour is conducted by a museum lecturer, and this is a wonderful idea. There is no doubt about it that one guide lecturer will deliver a lecture. He will guide the visitors from one gallery to another. He will explain each and every object, but this is an old practice which is not much appreciated in modern era. People need actually different kinds of audiovisual aids in the galleries. They want electronic bulletin, and these are of course very important you can say equipments, whether it is talkie-walkie or it is a system of audiophone and where the visitor is provided such kinds of system, and he is guided by the electronic devices themselves, and wherever he wants to move, accordingly he can operate the system and get information about particular exhibit, about the particular exhibition. And this system of talkie-walkie, the system of audiophones is very helpful in guiding visitors about the museum collection, about the exhibits which have been displayed. Apart from that, what we find that in place of labels have their own significance. Nobody can say that you should think of replacing the labels. Labels should be definitely be made, and they should be pasted. They should be fixed up with the pedestals. But if in a gallery there is a system, electronic device you have installed for electronic bulletin, and this bulletin keeps on giving running information on each and every object, activity. Suppose if we have Harappa gallery and there is electronic bulletin which gives information about objects in one particular corner where you have done some sitting arrangement, people will be able to get information from that electronic bulletin about the Harappan gallery. Another thing is that every museum is very keen about using different kinds of cinematographic technique for display as well. Earlier we were only using photography as a secondary material for installation of exhibitions in museum gallery. Many of the cultural installations were actually been based on photography only, but the scenario has changed, and one may find that a modern museum is well equipped with good auditorium. Apart from that, even in galleries we can use IMAX technique and OmniMax technique for very colorful, very lively presentation. And technology has made it very possible that for in every gallery we can create a corner where electronic devices can be installed, and in day thrice or whenever you feel that there are a good number of visitors are there, or if visitors really desire, we can operate the system, we can start the system, and people can have a wonderful experience by visualizing something. For that, very good videography has been done, very good commentary is available, very good documentary film has been made, and we should know that these traditional museums, they face several problems when they think of installation of electronic devices, because their architecture sometimes don't permit it, doesn't permit it. However, new museums everywhere in the world, wherever they are created, new museum buildings are being created. The first important issue is that what kind of technology we are also going to use. Earlier, it was not a matter of great concern for any museologist that what kind of technology will be used for museum, and the museum architect was never conscious, never very serious about it. They were only creating buildings which will have its functional rationality, that what space will be used for exhibition, how much space will be used for storage, how much space is required for the administrative section, what kind of a space is required for public amenities. Now, architect of a museum has to be very serious about this particular factor, that there will be need to install very good number of electronic devices related to computer, devices related to cinematographic technique, devices related to IMAX technique, OmniMax technique in different parts of the museum itself. So, as we have discussed that the use of cinematographic technique has become very, very important in every museum, because visitors sometimes are interested more in films and documentaries, and this is also required to break the monotony, because if you are only viewing objects one after another, it creates a mental fatigue. This museum fatigue sometimes creates a sense of disinterest in museum exhibition, and people think that similar kind of exhibition is there in all museums. They have only sculptures and sculptures, paintings and paintings. So it becomes very boring for them to continue viewing exhibitions in one gallery and after that in another gallery. So for breaking this monotony in display also, use of cinematographic technique is very much required. And we know that cinematographic technique has made a great success. All important museums in the world, they have wonderful auditorium, and they believe in showing films which are related to culture, documentaries which have been made on monuments, on archaeological sites, on cultural landscape, life and culture of a particular community. So what we can say that in terms of museum display as well as in terms of making museum a communication oriented museum, the use of cinematographic technique is very much required. And if somebody has visited National Museum, Delhi, the auditorium of National Museum generally shows film after 3 o'clock, and this is a very good endeavor. It has to be appreciated, because visitors are aware that after this particular time there will be a film show, or there will be a documentary that will be shown by the museum. So they will be able to have a very holistic, a very realistic picture of the archaeological cultures of about the archaeological site. Like for example, on Harappa they have a wonderful documentary that was long back been created by with the help of eminent archaeologist S.P. Gupta. So that is very impressive one, and people definitely get benefited. They become able to link the practices of Harappan period with modern India. This is also very important to know that use of computer in museums have become very important, and computer is a device which is required in museums, just not for digitizing. You can have for creating a database. Computers help us in creating a database of our objects, and earlier the documentation work was done manually. We used to record it, we used to make index cards, and still it is there in practice. Catalog cards are made, and catalog cards generally have one big photograph, index card has a small photograph. Then we depict information about particular object. Later on, a system of microfilming was adopted for the purpose of documentation. Now the use of computer technology had become very significant for museum. Without a proper system of computer, we cannot think of a very good museum, because what is our purpose? The first purpose of museum is to document the heritage, to write about them, that what are their artistic features, in what way they are aesthetically and historically significant. So computers help us in creating a database, in documenting our objects, and in digitizing the objects. The process of digitization which we have adopted for each and every museum will not be able to do it without having good computers and without knowledge of computer. This is actually a great challenge for museum. We have to create a human resource first, which should be well adept in modern technology. We already know it that technology is power, and if museums want to be powerful organizations, they are supposed to take recourse to modern technology. So computer is required for digitization, computer is required for documentation, computer is required along with different devices for photography, for recording the very process of conservation. If we are interested in doing conservation, of course computer is required, where we need to do the videography of the entire process, because every conservation work has to be reversible. So how the conservator of the next generation will be able to know that what process was adopted for the conservation. For this purpose, we are supposed to record the whole process of documentation, and this will be possible only by photographic technique, videographic technique, and use of computer in a museum. We are also installing in very good number touch screen computers. Touch screen is very important device because it helps in developing us interactive exhibitions. Very interactive exhibitions can be developed, and if people want to interact with object, there should be devices which can help people in knowing all about it. For example, if somebody is visiting Gupta Gallery, he is interested in knowing the chronological history, how he will be able to know. So he will touch the screen where general information of Gupta dynasty and its period is given. If somebody is interested in knowing about the rulers of Gupta period, he can touch that particular column and can know the information. If somebody is interested more in knowing about the artistic features, important places related to Gupta period, he can know it by using the touch screen. So this has become a general practice even in art and archaeological museums, that the proper videography is done. Museums are having proper recording system, recording room and studios, and they provide us information in different manners. We are supposed to use those technology, and they are very much visitors friendly. Actually, somebody who even doesn't have proper knowledge of computer can use touch screen. So in a process of making museum visitors friendly, the use of touch screen has become very significant. Then what we find that information kiosks are created in museums, where somebody can visit, and in one corner there will be a proper system, computerized system will be installed, where somebody can go, can interact with all objects by standing at one particular point, but by operating one particular machine, he can gather voluminous information that is well documented and which is made available on the system. So that we can say that technology has made museums more and more communication oriented, more and more information oriented, more and more, you can say, people's friendly, and they have made museums more and more, you can say, mentally accessible. It's a matter of mental accessibility as well. People visit to museum, but they return with tiresome experience. This is not good. They should feel like coming to the place again and again, and this will be possible only by the use of proper devices, computer devices. Museums are using several other technology apart from computer, apart from LCD projector, apart from IMAX and Omnimax technique, apart from cinematographic technique. Museums have started using laser technology also in their galleries, especially holographic technique, for showing something which is based on a particular historical theme. And these kind of creations are becoming very popular in the field of museums. So we can say that whether it is use of electronic devices like a walkie-talkie, or it is use of computer, or any sort of cinematographic technique, or even laser technique, museums have become technology oriented, and it is very good for the people also, because people will be able to gather more and more information about the exhibits only if museums have installed technology. Now, one thing is very important to know in this respect, that to what extent technology should be used, and this is a very important issue. Museums must use technology, but use of technology can also destroy or damage the very purpose of the museum itself. So we have to be very conscious. Museum is an artificially aestheticated space. There is no doubt about it. We use artificial methods for aestheticating the history. We create a historical environment within museum, but this historical environment is created by modern means, and it is fabricated actually in an artificial manner, of course, to offer people a very realistic kind of experience. But do we need museums dominated by modern technology, overpowered by modern technology, where objects of historical values should be given prime importance? There we are using a lot of modern devices, electronic devices, computer based devices, and this has transformed museums into a hyper real space. This is a very critical view also about the use of technology in the museum. And what is a hyper-real museum? I think it should also be explained that a museum where we have less number of objects, but where we are using modern technology to give people a realistic, a naturalistic, a genuine feel, that museum is sometimes critically called hyper-real museum. One thing which we will have to remember, one museum scientist, Frank Oppenheimer, has well stated, museums should use technology, but they should not be dominated by technology, because museum is a historical space, museum is a aesthetic space, a space for aesthetic creativity. One thing which is very remarkable in this regard, that the judicious balance should be created between the traditional kind of method of display and modern methods of display. There are people who like objects to be displayed in the way they are supposed to be displayed in a traditional kind of museum. They feel happy if the museum collection is not overshadowed by modern technology. Technology is required only to ameliorate our knowledge. It is required only to enhance our knowledge. It is only to create simulated effect. It is only to it should only be installed for a purpose of hands-on training, for making interactive display, for creating participatory exhibitions, for creating wonderful discovery room, for making good dioramas. Apart from that, if we are using technology, we are definitely be deviating ourselves from the main goal that we have to achieve, because people will come and play with modern devices, take it as means of entertainment, and they will go back. If you are making, as I have told you, a balance between original objects and their installations and installations of modern technology, but we can say technology cannot be supreme in museum display. What is important is always object. Technology has to be used as secondary material, as part of the support service for display only. So we have to be very conscious, very serious and about use of technology, but technology doesn't mean that we are creating everywhere a science museum or a science city where only and only technical devices should be installed. In art and archaeological museum, anthropological museum, cultural history museums, what is required, that technology should be used as a support service for enhancing the impact of the museum display, for making it more and more interactive. One example we can take from India, that a few years back the Museum of Indian Parliament was created. Though we have a very good number of authentic reports, documents, archival materials, photographs on India's parliamentary history, parliamentary procedure, the building of parliament, and also information on the great parliamentarians of the country. This Parliament Museum, when it was created, somehow it was decided to create it by using all modern technologies. There is another museum, that is the Museum on Agriculture, and that is the Museum of the Pusha Institute of Agriculture Research. Both these museums have used modern technology. BITS Pilani Museum in Rajasthan, that is also a technocentric kind of museum. Then we have Birla Science Center, Birla Science Museum in Kolkata, that is also a technocentric museum. We have several science cities, science centers in the country, including Nehru Science Center of Delhi, where very good installations by using machine machines, by using different implements has been made, but they are science museum. And a museum where a very thematic kind of exhibition has to be created. For there we need original materials also, because they have their own value. We have taken example of the Parliament Museum, where without conducting very prolific research on the parliamentary history of the country, exhibitions were made, they have been installed. They have made very good models. There is no doubt about that models are impressive. There is no doubt about these models are lively. The railings and gateways of Sanchi Stupa, they have been created. The Buddhist monks of the period of Asoka has been shown there. Then we can also find their exhibition showing Akbar, who is seated within a foliated arched pavilion, and he has been shown as a very secular ruler. But these kind of installations are altogether artificial installations, and these are also not based on proper historical researches. The pavilion which has been created for Akbar, this pavilion is multi-arched pavilion, foliated kind, with foliated kind of mihrab. This pavilion had become popular only during the period of Shah Jahan. So we should be very keen about using technology, but we shouldn't forget that historical realities are after all historical realities, and every museum education should be based on historical reality. Our effort is to create history, construct history, and not to create histrionics in museum gallery. The presentation should not be theatrical. It has to be created in a very realistic manner. So technology should not be used for creating histrionics, not for theatrical kind of exhibitions, and they rather technology has to be used for a novel purpose, that is to provide people proper information on a particular subject. We know that these kind of simulated effect these museums create, and they have their own significance, like Parliament Museum, where Gandhi, you can sing with Gandhi, you can move with Gandhi, Raghupati Raghav Rajaram, Patit Pawan Sitaram. It's good for children, there is no doubt about it, but we will have to realize whether Parliament Museum is a children's museum. Children's museum is altogether a very different context, very different concept. For children museum, we can use such kind of devices where there such kind of interpretative exhibitions can be developed. There you can have a different kind of ambience, there you can have different kind of activities. So when we are using technology, we have to be very sincere about all such issues, that who are our visitors? They are children, they are school going children, they are or they are common people, or we are going to cater the need of scholars and scientists. This is also very important. We in our country, India should be very proud of one particular fact that I would like to quote, that even America doesn't have a science city, and we are very fortunate in this way that Kolkata has a science city, and there we have very large installations based on scientific theory, again guided by the idea of edutainment. We have mega exhibits and installations in this science city, and the whole area has been developed as a place which can offer people of different age group different kind of experiences. So this kind of museum are really very activity oriented, and there the use of modern technology has been done in a very marvelous manner. One thing I would like to quote, though it is not a museum, but that has used museographic technique, that is Akshardham temple in Delhi. So showing the life history of Swami Narayan ji, and then for showcasing Indian culture and its great achievement, they have used modern technology. Very colorful, lively presentations have been made by them, by the good effect of light and sound, by creating exhibitions which really engage our different senses with the exhibitions. So India is doing a lot of experiment in this field. We can say that every museum, whether it is erstwhile Prince of Wales Museum, now that is called Shivaji Vastu Sangrahalaya, or a museum, agricultural museum of the Pusha Institute, or Parliament Museum, or our National Science City in Kolkata, Birla Science Museum, all the science, Nehru Science Center Mumbai, all such kinds of science centers, science museums, science centers and science cities, they are doing very prolific experiments with technology, and this is of course a great experiment and a great achievement that has been made by our country. One thing we should also accept, that despite such kind of experiments in a few selected museums of the country, the use of technology in our museums is very less. I haven't seen even our state level museums and even the museums of national importance which are using modern technology for a great purpose, for the purpose of providing people proper information about their exhibition. And in this respect itself, National Museum of Delhi is also a museum which has a very traditional kind of display, and there is not much use of modern technology. With all these words, I would like to conclude this lecture, and this was the last one in the series of the 5 lectures on museums. We should think in the direction of a modern museum, communication oriented museum, and a technology centric museum. But again, I would like to say that technology should be used as a secondary source, and also as a support service for the museums. Museums have the real purpose to provide people very authentic data which is historically correct and which is based on scientific interpretation. So in the name of creating simulated effect and ameliorate our knowledge, museums should not fabricate exhibitions which will be bereft of historical information, and which will not be based on historical realities. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. That was very interesting, and we received an in-depth account of the use of technology in museums. So as part of that, a question that has arisen, and I would like to ask you about it, that you talked about the use of dioramas, and is there any museum in India that uses dioramas?
Yes, in Delhi, Natural History Museum, National Museum of Natural History, that has used wonderful dioramas for showing the natural habitats of different animals. They have also used diorama to showcase the physical setting of a village in one of their galleries. Apart from that, National Museum has used a few beautiful dioramas, especially in the Maritime Gallery of National Museum. There is a wonderful diorama depicting the movement of ships in the Indian Ocean.
Right. So this is of course a very innovative idea, very interesting idea, that not only older people or adults may be interested, but children also find interest in these dioramas. So did you say that it gives the feel of the actual place, that maybe creating the environment of a forest or a jungle, say?
Yeah, of course, the basic idea for creating a diorama, actually we are creating different type of dioramas. Earlier dioramas were created only in form of painting, which that used to create three-dimensional effect. Later people started creating diorama with a sculpto painting.
Right.
Yeah, with relief, with some figures, with some sculptures, and then in the background there was very colorful painting. Now the type of dioramas we are using, that are dioramas which engage your different senses and offer you a multi-sensory you can say joy. So we are making use of audio-visual techniques, cinematographic technique, even for creating simulated effect.
Right. All right. So, sir, as we know that you have designed the Philatelic Museum in Delhi, can you tell us a bit about that? Just an introduction, and have you implemented any technology? Have you brought about its use?
Actually, this Philatelic museum is a very small museum, though it is a museum of national importance, and it's very difficult to showcase stamps. So what we have done, we had made different groups of stamps showing Indian monuments and archaeological sites, stamps that show the different national leaders, different important personalities, also stamps showing Indian fauna and flora, also stamps which were based on you can say freedom fighters, which depicts the figures of freedom fighters. So we created different groups and we developed large size blow-ups. We also used replicas, some replicas which we had procured from National Museum. I would like to quote you especially one particular replica of an image. That image belongs to Khajuraho, lady writing letter, and that this sculpture is displayed in Indian Museum, Kolkata. So we made a model of that particular sculpture, and we displayed these three things: the small stamp, its blow up, and the model, the replica of that particular sculpture in one particular corner. But this museum doesn't use much of modern technology. We have only created a space for showing some documentary film only, and it's a it's a museum which is actually based on philatelic collection, and we created one particular corner for children where students who are invited by the museum for painting competition, if they are creating good paintings, their paintings are also exhibited in one particular corner.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, and we would like to thank sir for conducting this whole series on museums, and we got to learn about a lot of different aspects of museums, and if one is interested in an in-depth study or even for study to go to a museum, a preliminary study, it is very beneficial. And as sir has also told us in numerous lectures that one can also take it up as an academic discipline, and one can go into the study of museums, one could do a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and there are many institutes which are coming up where one can take up these studies. So friends, today we learned that cultural education and aesthetic delight can be created through modern technology, and technology has made museums more people friendly and mentally accessible. So as we come to the close of this series and the lecture, thank you for watching, and thank you, sir, and I wish all of you a very nice day. Thank you.